The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Case. My name is Christine O'Hara and I am your host today for this wonderful conversation we'll be having with the Alzheimer's Association Western New York chapter. CASE is the coalition of agencies serving the elderly. We are a group of businesses, organizations, individuals who provide services to the elders in our community. We are about 55 businesses strong. We meet on a monthly basis, and we really are resources for each other and for the community. Each month on Conversations with Case, we bring a new organization to talk about what's happening with them, what's out there for those in need, and any other questions that need to be answered. So today I'd like to introduce Lynn Hughes, who is the Walk Manager, Niagara County, and Courtney Sipes, Director of Community Engagement. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Morning.
How are you both doing?
Good.
Well, I'm going to just kind of step right into this because I know you've got some exciting stuff coming up, Lynn. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the walk?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I am the walk manager for the Niagara County Walk to End Alzheimer's. This year it is on Saturday, October 18th at Reservoir State Park. And it's a wonderful way for the community to come together to bring awareness to Alzheimer's dementia, to help fundraise. So we are in the community, in rural communities of Niagara County, helping people, the caregivers that are with people day in, day out with Alzheimer's dementia, all our resources, our education, our awareness programs, our walks help to keep those in our communities. The walk, believe it or not, is a celebration of people coming together in memory of someone who passed away from Alzheimer's dementia, coming together as caregivers to see the support for what other people are going through. Families, friends, companies, organizations, they come to see that there is hopefully an end to Alzheimer's. So our walks bring everyone together, but it starts now. We build teams, we have awareness presentations in companies and in organizations. So our walk is free to register. And on that day you come, it's a wonderful venue. The walk is under 2 miles. Reservoir is a wonderful place for the walk. And it just brings everyone together.
Great. A couple things. So you say free. Are you not trying to raise funds? Do you encourage people to get out?
Registration is free.
Okay.
So we always encourage everyone to fundraise. So when you register for free, whether you're as an individual or a team, you do have a fundraising goal. Sure. So basically within your own companies, your own circles, your families, your friends, your community, you're raising funds for the awareness of Alzheimer's dementia. Those funds help, obviously the biggest thing is research. Mm-hmm. We have now gone from the era of research into the era of treatment, and because of that, those funds that we do raise, there's over 600 walks throughout the United States.
I was going to ask that.
There's 31 in New York State alone. In our Western New York community, there's 6. Buffalo's the largest walk, and then Niagara, and then we're in 4 other regions: Orleans, Genesee, Wyoming, Chautauqua, and the Southern Tier. So the funds that we raise goes to research, and then within our communities, my coworker here, Courtney, it helps them to keep all their programs and services free to the local communities. And so we do fundraising,
right?
Sponsorships. Just the whole vendors, just everything it takes, obviously, to do what we do and keep going, and the momentum to hopefully end L. So yes, there is a fundraising aspect, but registration is free.
I wanted to make sure I'm a fundraiser by heart. Yeah. So I have to say, just from a personal standpoint, I mean, I'm certainly much more involved with the Alzheimer's Association, certainly you two and others, but the funds you've been raising, they must be doing their job, because I have seen many more reports coming out with new discoveries, new this, new that. So Often in work and what we do, we go to work every day and it's the grind, but you must feel somewhat of, a positivity in what you're doing is making a difference.
Definitely. Like now, like I said, you see a smile on my face. We have a flower ceremony at the walk. There's 5 different colored flowers. Each one represents something, and we bring that to the walk, and you see people now. More people holding up a blue flower, which represents somebody living with Alzheimer's dementia, where before you didn't see that. The yellow is for caregivers. We now have a caregivers tent, so people can see that they're helping each other. They're helping to, come together. Healthy brain, healthy foods for the brain, healthy habits. We try to get the message out there that there's things you can do, and hopefully these things can help with us with research, and then hopefully
Sure.
treatments and the end to Alzheimer's dementia. The other big thing is caregivers. A lot of people don't understand that in our workplace, in our communities, caregivers are sometimes not known, and the effects of caregivers in the community, in the workplace, sometimes can be detrimental. So
Sure.
we try to bring them together. We have respite programs. We have caregiver consultations. We have our 1-800 number, which Courtney will talk about. We have all these services that now I think what you're saying, Christine, is it's bringing the awareness to the forefront, and now
Sure.
we're getting out there in a large
It
scale.
It truly is amazing in the work that I do now. I'm much more aware, and I've not been touched personally in my direct family, but so much more of the horrible disease. So, and I have to say, I was at the walk last year. Not a big team. We'll try and get a team this year, but it is a beautiful celebration. You do a wonderful, wonderful job,
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure that somehow you arrange the nice weather in all of those areas for
We
every one
do.
of those
We do.
walks.
Yes, we do.
Wonderful.
So hopefully October 18th, it'll be good weather. A lot of times October's nicer than September, so we're hoping for that.
We hope it's
So-
nicer than May and June and
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
Courtney, so you and I have worked on some programs together. We're in the midst of doing that. I know a lot of what you do is being out in the community, engaging those of us, organizations, companies. So maybe tell us a little bit about what you do and why it's important.
Sure. So I come from the programs team, so sort of the programmatic side of the house. So a lot of the work that I do along with the team, the program team, and volunteers, we're out in the community providing education, offering caregiver support groups, getting folks linked to supports and services as early in their diagnosis as possible. Really trying to make everyone aware. So anyone with a brain is at risk for developing Alzheimer's and dementia. There are populations, there are people who are at a greater risk. But really it's getting that word out there and creating that awareness about brain health and about risk reduction and lifestyle modifications and things of that nature. So a lot of the work that we do, I consider very like boots on the ground, offering classes to public, truly anyone that wants to learn. We also have classes and topics that go much deeper dives for caregivers, specifically to talk about some of the struggles or challenges that they're facing particularly.
You said the word education, and I always marvel. It sounds like, God rest your soul, Mom. It sounds like a mom word, but I marvel at how much knowledge anyone that I have worked with or spoken with that works for the Alzheimer's Association, the knowledge that you have. Is this just from years of training? Do you have to go through a special training program? How does that, either of you or both of you?
Sure. I can speak to it first. So a lot of us, although it's not a requirement, certainly, a lot of us do come to this work with a personal connection, unfortunately. So for myself, it was my great Aunt Mary, and like a lot of the folks on the team, we come with those experiences and lessons learned, but there is extensive training provided to individuals that either work for the Alzheimer's Association or volunteer. What I love about the fact that, we're a national organization. So Lynn mentioned there's 600 walks across the country. I want to say there's 75 chapters. And a lot of the education that we provide across the country is the same. It's the same. So if someone's getting it in Niagara Falls, a class, someone in California is going to be getting that same unbiased education. And I think that's really welcomed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's amazing to me, the knowledge, and I certainly am nowhere near what you are, but I have learned so much, and it's tough sometimes when I come in contact with, because now that I certainly know a bit more, I try to use those pieces of information that I have without, going overboard. But I guess I can confidently say is there are resources. I know where they are. But having said that, and either one of you can answer it, I would guess, and just based on experiences we've had, that sometimes people don't like to admit it. And when you are there trying to help someone or help for their caregivers, do you have a certain way you combat that? Because I think it's a tough thing.
Definitely. So to just even tag on to what Courtney was just saying, our whys, yes, most of the time we all have a personal why, a passion, say. We ask people to do their passion project. Why are you here? Why are you on the committee to walk to end Alzheimer's? Why are you in a respite, part of a respite program? We try to, as a creative team, as a development team in fundraising, we try to bring the reality of the disease on a level that makes it understandable, makes it, you take that empathy and compassion and you wrap it up into a package that is marketable. It's not scary. A caregiver, we're seeing more and more caregivers coming out with the person they're caring for, where before a lot of times they would say, oh no, I can't bring them out, I can't do this. So from us, we're bringing it more out to people and bringing it to an understanding that Alzheimer's dementia is a disease, but there is hope out there. And like I said, being part of the creative team, we do it in such a way that we try to make it not as scary. The reality's there, but there are things that we can do to make it easier, to assist you, to help you. And, at the end, here's a celebration. Our fundraiser really brings people together and the community together. So I think that's some of it, what you're seeing more. Our campaigns, it starts now, it's always here, things like that. It's not like one and done. Okay, we're coming back for next year.
Right.
We consistently do it all year round. And thusly, the programs and services and the education are all there all year round. We had a program during the holidays, Caregivers Through the Holidays, and it was fabulous. Actually, I believe you hosted one of them.
Yeah, we hosted one,
Yeah, and to hear some of those little things about timing, about eating, about gift giving, gift receiving, it was fabulous. So if you're ever a caregiver, those things are so informative and they make you feel good.
Yeah. And I'd say too, certainly it's normal to want to be in denial,
Sure.
That's something we encompass every day. One of the resources I didn't mention, which I would be remiss if I didn't, was our care consultations. So we have a 24/7 helpline, and that is truly 24/7. And people can call that number and or meet with folks, care consultants at our chapter by phone, meet with them in person, to really just talk about whatever specific thing they're going through at the moment. There's a lot involved in this journey, and so just kind of piecemealing it and helping people where they're at. But certainly, as you can imagine, when some of your independence starts to be taken away from you, there is going to be that denial, and just working through it and talking through it and making sure that people know that they don't have to go through it alone, and that there are other support services out there to assist them with it is critical.
Yeah, no doubt. I've spoken before, coming from where I come from. We're a referral service for caregivers, and we say the word caregivers, but it could be anybody. It could be you, me, a family member, or whomever. But I've probably mentioned it before, but I was out at presenting at a local organization on caregivers, and a gentleman was there with a wife who has dementia, and he has been her sole caregiver, and his sons come once in a while, people from the church, but he's like, what can you do? And I said, well, listen to my presentation, and it was about respite, that for him. So after he listened, he's like, I think I might give it a shot with a caregiver. I need a break. So he called the office. He's called it like 4 times. I think he isn't ever home anymore. He has loved having, seriously, he is there, but the respite. He didn't realize, because again, it's not just that the Alzheimer's Association is there, but others are there. There is help for people. And watching someone close to the family going through it right now, it is just so difficult, and a different experience for every single person.
Exactly. Very individualized.
And we call it care. A lot of people call it care partners now.
Yeah.
And that word really encompasses a lot.
Sure.
So the 800 number really does work. They received a call at 2:00 in the morning from a care partner, caregiver. That sister has had Alzheimer's dementia, and she hadn't slept for 3 days. And the caregiver was at her wit's end and said, I need to call somebody. So at 2:00 in the morning called, and the person at the other end called, when answering the phone, said, let's try something. Because what happens is she wasn't sleeping because she heard people in the house. They weren't leaving the house. Her dementia, her hallucinations, her delusions, whatever she was going through. She says, do something for me. Go around, open up every door, every window, the garage door, whatever it might be, and then literally scream at everybody to get out. It may not work, and then we'll figure something else out. So she did it, and it worked.
Wow,
and
amazing.
The person who had Alzheimer's dementia said to happened to be her sister, who was her caregiver, said thank you. And I think slept for the next 24 hours along with herself. So that was the 800 number that helped that person. And at a time of the night that is critical. Yeah. So it does work. Those things, people say, oh, I'm not calling it 800 number. I don't know. It works. It really does.
I call 800 numbers all the time now. It doesn't even matter. I'll call you guys for the 800 number. I know you've helped me before. I think it just goes to show that, at the end of the day, we're people. It's personal touch. You just have to have that empathy. You have to be able to do that. And we've kind of talked about it, but Courtney, besides your great Aunt Mary, what makes this work so special to you? And how do you make it special for others?
Yeah, it's a great question. It was my experience with her that I think really brought about the passion for educating specifically about effective communication. So much of the techniques and strategies that we, talk about with caregivers, a lot of it stems from communication. And that was something that I saw frequently, bless you, not redirecting my aunt when she would get to a point of maybe seeing things or asking, where someone was that had passed away a long time ago. And so we call it lying with love or therapeutic fibbing. So sort of redirecting that person. And so I saw a lot of that take place. And it was once she had passed away and I got more involved, that's when I sort of see it now as my mission to just make sure that more families are connected to supportive resources, just even something as simple as effective communication, like a strategy you can use. And if we had done that in our journey, how different some of the transactions could have been. But really the individuals that I meet on a daily basis, that's what keeps me going and keeps us going is you're helping people who really need the help, and you're creating awareness where, as you sort of mentioned, like just having a friendly face, someone to, you meet with for the first time to put your mind at ease, being able to be that person for someone who's perhaps in a crisis situation or really just, I hear very often how concerned individuals are about their own memories. And so just learning and sort of being empowered to know when they need to really advocate for themselves or for their loved ones. It really is, what helps keep us going.
Sure.
Yeah, we make a difference. We make a difference. Life carries on. And for the person living with Alzheimer's dementia, their families, their caregivers, we help them to go into the day-to-day, into the next day. And hopefully by all the resources and just the education and the communication, redirecting is huge. So it does make a difference in their day-to-day lives.
And I think I kind of said it before. I'm going to say it in a different way. Again, we've all been involved in organizations, but it really, and not just because I work closely with both of you, but it really comes through. You have a job to do, but you have passion about what you're doing. And that's not always the way with everything. It's just not. It's not right or wrong, but it comes through. I don't think twice if I have a question on that I can ask you guys. And it's a very, very good feeling. So I want to let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as case goes, because I always like to, and that phrase, circle back, each of you, what does case mean to you for the Alzheimer's Association? So Lynn, maybe with you start.
The networking, the collaboration. Case Niagara, when we come together on a monthly basis or do events together, we all talk about why we're here, what we're doing. We share our information. We share communications with each other. We help support each other. We're involved in everyone's events when possible, and vice versa. My Niagara County Walk, there are right now at least a half a dozen teams that are directly from Case Niagara. So it's that collaboration of getting your message out there, but the message is also something that is really a common thread because of who we're dealing with in the groups of people that we're dealing with. But then it also has wings where it spreads out to really, well, even though it's a coalition for all adults, it encompasses families and that whole focus on the family, like a young one. Why is grandma and grandpa, why is our aunt like that? That open communication, and then we look to other services. Somebody needs to move from their house. So members of Case Niagara are people who move people from houses, people who organize, caregivers, like associations like yourself, and real estate agents. And so we're made up of so many different people, so we're able to know the resources instead of sometimes wondering where's the next move or what's the next step. How does somebody carry on? Organizations like Case and the networking really helps that.
You can put a face with a name. For
Yes,
sure.
yes, and a service and a need.
And a need. Courtney, you just led a very successful open house for Case. You come to the monthly meetings. So, again, you come from a different piece of the education and the engagement. What do you think about Case and Case Niagara, and what has it done for you and for what you do?
Sure. So first, I'll piggyback a little bit on Lynn's response in terms of, a lot of those of us who are a part of Case, we sort of work in this space, so we know a lot of connections already, or we think we know, and I think it's so important to take the time to genuinely get to know the individuals you might be referring to, and even things that come up in meetings that like aha moments that might come up. I mean, opportunities for us to go into some of the businesses or organizations that are part of Case to provide education, whether it's to their clients, patients, or whether it's to their staff. Just any chance that I have or that we have to spread awareness about this disease and about brain health. I mean, I am all for it, but Case, I think, is particularly amazing because it has such an intimate feel to it, and you really get to know each person and their organization, and I think it's really helpful in knowing who you're passing that next person off to.
And I think people who work in the industries in which we all work kind of have the same, I don't want to say personality traits. We're